Hey y'all, it's Natalie for Not Just for Boys Kit Club, and today I have a layout for you using the Cider Limitless kit. And I pulled these out of the archives. These are from 2013 when Heath was just a little baby and we took him to the pumpkin patch for the first time. But I haven't scrapped much of that year at all, and so I thought they would be so perfect to go with this gorgeous kit. So I am using the frames that are $49 in market. They are called the Toast color. The color of them is toast, and I'm using them to outline these three photos. One is 3x4 and two are 2x3 inches. And then my idea immediately when I saw these frames was that I wanted to create kind of a collage, or you can call it maybe some type of messy grid layout. And so I'm trying to decide which background paper to use. And then I'm going to fill the other frames with the pattern papers. So I think about the one cream, and then I go with this wood grain yellow. But then I just feel like once I add on the patterns that the yellow wood grain is just a little much. So I go with the super soft, very basic cream 49 in market paper. And that's going to be my background. We have the embellishments that are from the farmstead. I think that's what it's called. Farmstead Harvest Ephemera collection by American Crafts. And I am just using some really skinny cherry tape here to stick the frames around my photos. And then I will pop up the photo frames on some foam tape, and then the other ones will lay flat against the background paper. I also pulled out this cardstock cut that comes in the Cider Limitless kit, and it's a cute little pumpkin border, but I'm actually going to kind of slice it up to use it as additional embellishments. So I'm just going to arrange the photos and the frames and around the page how I would like them, and then we'll work on a little bit more zhuzh to the background. That American Crafts Farmstead Harvest paper is really lovely floral with like a navy blue background, and I'm really digging that. So I'm going to use that one, and then I picked paper rose, and it's one of the plaid papers, and it's orange and navy blue plaid. I chose the smaller one. And then another paper rose collection is the textures with that really gorgeous weird orange texture. So you can see that in the bottom left there. So I'm kind of arranging them to see how I want them to go. And then we have that awesome chevron stencil, which is also from Paper Rose, and I'm going to use the Crackling Campfire Distress Oxide through that stencil. Now I'm not going to just douse the stencil with it, so you can get a really nice distressed look. I'm not going to the edge. I don't want hard edges, and I'm not like making a ton of color. I'm just kind of making a nice distressed, faded look. And so at the top, they're going to go towards the right, and at the bottom I changed direction of the stencil, so they're going to go the opposite direction, just for a little bit of added interest. And then I kind of did 3 different sections. You'll see a little later I add in a little bit more, but I'm also going to add in a little splatter because that's my jam, and it just kind of helps with the distressed nature. And I don't know, to me it gives a nice finished look to the mixed media background. And I did not add any gesso to this. I didn't add a lot of water. I just used my ink blending brush through this stencil, so it didn't really need gesso. So now I'm kind of putting everything back. I did pop up the photo frames with the foam tape, except the top one, I knew it was going to overlap the larger one, so I didn't want to put foam tape on it yet because I didn't want it to pop up like 2 layers of foam tape. So I'll only pop it up the parts that are not overlapping the other foam taped frame, if that makes sense. I am on the Not Just for Boys Kit Club blog today. I'll link that down below. And here you can see where I kind of just figured out the line that would be the stopping point for the foam, and then only added it at the top. And I will also link down below to the Cider Limitless kit. There are still a few in the store, so grab it before it's gone. It's a really fabulous, unique fall-themed kit. Not a lot of harvest, just a little bit of harvest and a lot of awesome colors and patterns. So here I go. I'm cutting apart the little pumpkin border. And my plan is to do some heat embossing on that and add a little bit of sparkle to the page, as I do. And then layer it up with the ephemera bits that come from the American Crafts Farmstead Harvest collection. I try to add in 4 sections, but that didn't work. Don't worry. I know that doesn't look good. We'll take that away here in just a moment. And so, you'll see me a couple times in this kit kind of slice things apart or treat items differently than maybe their intended purpose, like this border. But I just want to encourage you to always make things work with you. The other thing I'll do is the pumpkins, the word from the ephemera pack that says pumpkins. Well, it's going to be part of my title, and there's only one little pumpkin in the photo, and I'm not talking about a pumpkin, I'm talking about the boy. So I just sliced off the S, so that works perfectly for my title for these photos. So don't be afraid to change your embellishments and make them work for you. So the first go around, I did not get enough embossing ink on my cardstock cut bits, so that's okay. I always like to layer up my heat embossing powder twice anyway, so I made sure to douse it really nicely the second time around, and it sticks lovely. This is embossing powder in metallic copper sparkle, I think is what it's called. But it looks really brown on here. It's a little more orangey in person, like more of a copper color. I don't know. It's reading really brown tonight though. I don't know if it's my lighting or maybe I'm colorblind. I'm not sure. Sorry, my embossing skills are rusty since I left the WOW embossing team. So I'm like making my camera go all crazy with my gun. But there you can see it just added really fabulous glitter, but the glitter doesn't get all over the place because it's embossed and set. So that's lovely. A great way to add glitter to your scrapbooking pages. So now I try to use the gorgeous leaf, which is an add-on from this collection, but I do actually end up taking it off. It's so beautiful though. And so one of our challenge this month on the Facebook group is to use 3 different fonts in your title. And so I decided to pull out 2 ephemera words from the Farmstead Harvest ephemera pack. And then I'm going to use the little mustard. There I go. I'm chopping off that S. We don't need the S. I'm going to use the mustard alphas that are from P13 that also came in this kit. And so my whole title is going to say Precious Autumn Pumpkin because he was so precious. Oh my gosh. He's like almost 11 now and he's still pretty cute. But man, I miss him being little like that. Oh, and he was so cute, discovering the pumpkins and just sitting there all adorable. So I'm just going to go into my ephemera pack here and pull out some more bits. Since I used the yellow in the title, I want to pop out a few pieces of yellow around the page. So that's why I picked the little flowers and I added in that little sprig of leaves over there behind the pumpkin. So I kind of want to have like a visual triangle of that yellow color. So I'm just kind of sprinkling leaves around. I'm trying to use the cardstock ones because and then add in the vellum ones as well. I like to mix and match, and one of the words was vellum and one of the words has a white border. So later on towards the end, you'll see that I'm like, well, we have that white border around the word. We need white borders elsewhere on the page. So since I added a little bit more stenciling, I just added a little bit more splatter as well. And now I'm going to commit to that last photo placement with the foam tape. And yeah, I don't know what would you call this? Would you call it a grid or would you call it a collage? Or a grid collage? Maybe that's the best of both worlds. We'll call it that. So I'm just layering my pumpkins up here. So I stuck down the cardstock. It was a little crooked and the photo was sticking out at the top of the frame. So I'm fixing that and I'm going to straighten it up a little. And then I'm going to stick down the cardstock ephemera first. And then I'll stick down the cardstock cut that is kind of like, see-through a little bit on top of it. And so I like to layer my items and make sure everything is touching and gives a good look of cohesion to the page. But we're really focused on pumpkins on this layout because we were at the pumpkin patch. So I love the way that is looking. So that little leaf is a vellum leaf. So remember I said we're mixing and matching the vellum with the cardstock bits and making sure to have plenty of the yellow color in there to give pops of that yellow throughout the page because we already had a lot of orange going on. So that's another vellum leaf. And then another sprig will go, oh no, not a sprig, a pumpkin will go on top of that. So we're getting towards the end of the layout. Like I said, I'll put the links down below if you want to go shop or if you want to see all the close-ups on the blog. I'll also put a link to our Facebook group if you want to participate in our challenge. We always have lots of fun with that over in the Facebook group. So again, it is to use 3 different fonts in your title. So that's what I've done here. Precious Autumn Pumpkin. And I'm going to layer that title on top of some more ephemera bits. And I really like how, you have the frames with the papers and the photos nice and neatly inside their shapes in the rectangles. But then I like to take the sprigs and the pumpkins and kind of take them outside of that geometric grid and keep them a little bit more organic. It kind of makes it not so straight line with the page. That and then the chevron background helps with that as well. So now I get a little happy with adding the ephemera bits because for the reason I just said. Oh, by the way, don't put your Nuvo adhesive behind the vellum unless it's not going to be seen. Like the bits that are tucked behind other things is fine. But for this title bit, I used my clear tape because it will not show up. But if you did the Nuvo adhesive, it would make it look weird. So, but now I'm going to go a little while just tucking little leaves in and kind of giving it that organic look of sticking out from the frame. So I'm going to tuck some leaves and an acorn there, and then I'm going to add a few more in additional corners of the frames. I needed a little bit of that yellow up there in the top, and then you can see over there, well, I'm going to add a vellum sprig up here because I like the idea of bringing that navy blue down to the bottom left because you have some in that background of the floral. So I like to balance that out. And then that's when I was like, okay, we need a few more of the sprigs with white borders to kind of go with the autumn white border because we didn't want it to seem random. We want it to be cohesive and seem like we meant to be there. So we repeat that element in multiple times on the page, and we're heading towards the end. I hope you guys like this. I had a lot of fun making it, and let me know if you have any questions at all, and I would love to hear your comments. And yeah, I had a lot of fun with it. I hope you like this kit, and we'll go grab one. And yeah, love to hear from you. Have you a great week, and thank you so much for watching. I'd love it if you'd like and subscribe. Bye, y'all.